Supersport is go. Looked like another great start too from Ollie Simpson from the second row of the grid. Keep your eye on Taparis. He's also a good starter on board the stop and sell machine. And Farnsworth is in there as well, but it's Simpson that will lead them into turn one. The two BC Performance machines in second and third. And I think you'll find that is Tom Taparis back to fifth position. And it's the Addicted to Track machine of Roberto Tamburini that slots up into fourth.
Yeah, I think Tom Taparis will be happy with that. It's a pretty decent start. He always seems to take a lap or two to bet himself in.
Yeah, then it's Taparis on another one of the next-gen machines. Then it's Jake Farnsworth on board the bike that he won at Phillip Island here last year. And you can see there's certainly plenty of top speed in that machine. He tries to go up the inside of Taparis down into doing corner turn one. He gets up the inside, but Taparis will fight back immediately. Yeah. No, Farnsworth takes that position.
That was a big move by Jake Farnsworth. He pushed Taparis a little wide there through turn one, but
fastest rider on the first flying lap was Jake Farnsworth with a 35.439. So Jake's making his intentions quite clear there with a big move on Hayden Nelson down into turn 10.
And he gets it done. Big move, Taparis.
Taparis was trying to go up the inside, had to abort that manoeuvre. There was just no room to get the stop and seal Panigale V2 through there.
Yeah, that was a big aggressive move there by Tom Taparis, but he couldn't quite get it done, but he could sense that it was an opportunity, so he went for it. Kawasaki has got some pace. Look at that.
Well, the thing that we found out from talking to them at the BC Performance team, as Tommy Edwards puts the BC Performance Kawasaki ZX636 into the lead.
Look at this race, Phil. This is crazy.
This is what we saw in the battle in the Superbike race as well, wasn't it? Apart from Harry Voigt that just cleared out, but we've got now Ollie Simpson trying to utilise the extra capacity of that Panigale V2 and pays
Tamburini comes through too, look. Tamburini up in the second spot.
Well, Tamburini was into turn one hot, but you see he just got off the side of the bike, turned it into the corner. They've obviously been working hard on the setup of that machine. Here we've got our top six covered by, that is 0.8 of a second as they came across the line, Steve.
I don't want to throw you under the bus, but who would have been riding that bike last year?
Up into second place, the Kawasaki goes back past Jake Farnsworth.
His foot come off the peg there, he ran a little bit wide, but around the outside, lost both Kawasaki's there.
Well, I don't know if he lost the front there and it was just a balancing act from Jake Farnsworth to try and keep the Worth Race Engines machine on track. Whatever it was a demonstration.
There he goes again.
Up the inside.
He's able to place that Yamaha wherever he likes. Hard on the brakes, we know he's good on the brakes. Runs, does he hold it? Looks like he's gone slightly wide, but no, holds it all together. Meanwhile, out front, Ollie Simpson, he's not pulling away, but he's controlling this one. He's looking good, he's carrying the corner speed. I think he might fancy having a bit of a crack at Ollie Simpson up front.
There goes Edwards down the front, start-finish straight on board the next-gen Kawasaki. Just blasts on past Roberto Tamburini's machine. Tamburini did say at the completion of race one that all the bikes out there are so fast. But at the same time, did you see the completely different line? Or there's just trying to see who that is.
That's Oliver Short.
Yep, Ollie Short. Unfortunately, his race has ended early. Edwards has just set the fastest lap of the race, Steve, with a 35.240. There's a Blue Crew replay of Ollie Short.
Yep, into Siberia corner, easily done. Been there myself. He's certainly got that bike handling well. He just needs to stay in the slipstream, and hopefully he can just utilise that slipstream, which he does, and he goes past the Kawasaki. Not quite, but he gets past Ollie Simpson on the inside. That is tight, not quite.
Well, that was the perfect use of the double slipstream there for Roberto Tamburini as Edward goes into the lead. So Farnsworth also flying the Supersport flag along with Roberto Tamburini, who has a look up the inside.
And makes it.
There you go, he goes from fourth to second place at turn 4. Getting the better of both Hayden Nelson and Ollie Simpson.
Definitely a tighter entry there for the Yamaha rider in second spot on the R6 Supersport bike. Still a very capable bike they are, I can tell you.
How is he over the edge of the ripple strip as Edwards goes across the line to get the final lap board. Tamburini goes for the lead. Simpson comes down the inside. It's Roberto Tamburini into the lead on board the Addicted to Track machine as we start this last lap.
What a massive move. Up the inside, can't be done there, but Tamburini leads.
Simpson round the outside of Edwards in turn 2. He's going to run out of real estate on the outside of the corner. Edwards comes back on the inside.
Well,
Taparis has just dropped off the back of this battle too, Steve.
This will be the lap of Tamburini's life if he can hold it together. A bit of a slide there for one of the Kawasaki's, but it is Tamburini who, again, how smooth do you want to be through there?
Oh, contact between Hayden Nelson and also Ollie Simpson there. The teammates from last year have had a little bit of a contact through turn 4.
Rise here. Up they go through the blind crest.
Oh,
there's a
Edwards,
moment.
massive moment. How did he hang on to that one?
Oh, well, it didn't matter, did it? He got through to second. What a move.
I think that has really helped Roberto Tamburini as these three now
for second spot. These guys are absolutely out of control, wobbling all over the place. It is Tamburini that's going to win this one, but
through the final corner he goes. He sets sail for the finish. He's got a massive lead over the remainder of the field as they've roughed each other up on the final lap. Edwards pulls out of Hayden Nelson's slipstream. He'll get the nod for second place. It's going to be a photo finish for third, but congratulations to Roberto Tamburini. What a race. What a ride from the Italian. Absolutely unbelievable performance. Well, he said that he wanted to challenge the guys a little bit better in race number 2, and that's exactly what he's done. Lights are on. Supersport is go for the final time this weekend. Looked like a pretty good start from all the riders on the front row of the grid, along with Ollie Simpson, who's scything his way through. Tucks in right behind Tommy Edwards, who should lead them down through turn 1 for the first time. You can see everyone's just a little bit more tentative than they've been for the rest of the weekend. Taparis has also got a great start, Stephen. He's up there on the stop and seal machine. But around the outside, it's crazy Jake Farnsworth getting crazy early on in this one.
You can make a lot of space, and that's what Farnsworth is doing right now. He's just got to be careful he doesn't make a mistake.
Well, Will Nassib, big move down the hill for the first time into turn 10 on the brakes. The young man from Western New South Wales.
Well, yeah, going sideways is his thing, isn't it? So you're right, keep an eye on Sam Drain, especially once he gets a couple of laps under his belt. But it is Tom Edwards who nips past Will Nassif into turn 1. Although, look at Nassif around the outside.
Yeah, that's a big move from Will down into turn 1.
You can see Farnsworth as he enters the corners. He takes his foot off and drags it on the ground on the way into the corner. But around the outside on that V-twin Ducati, and you know, like that torque into the tyre, it can sometimes not make it as smooth as you might think. A lot of power. He needs to bring that throttle in smooth.
Well, here comes Hayden Nelson up the inside of Taparis, but Taparis won't give up that place without a fight and fights back immediately. But our leader, Jake Farnsworth, obviously he loves this circuit, Steve. This is his 21st race in the Supersport category at Phillip Island. He's had 1 win and 3 podiums. In fact, it's his 55th race overall in the Australian Supersport Championship. So almost half of his races have been held at this circuit. That 1 win that he's had has only come here at Phillip Island, but he's only had 3 podiums in the rest of those races. So he absolutely loves this place here at Phillip Island. At the moment, he's doing a great job, although his lead has been reduced now to just under 1 second.
It's more the front tyre that doesn't give you quite as much feel. You head into the corners braking, and sometimes you're left wondering, do I have the grip or don't I have the grip? But anyway, Ollie Simpson up the inside, holds that tight line and makes the pass.
Our early race leader, Jake Farnsworth.
Hayden Nelson's come on strong, hasn't he? He's when he first came into this class, he had a lot of crashes, but he's dug deep this year. He's looking like the complete package with that BC Performance ZXR 636.
Well, I'll tell you what, Will Nassif has also proven that he's very good down the hill into turn 10. You can see Will focus there, close in shot on Hayden Nelson, and at the same time you can see he looked over his shoulder because Will Nassif had just shoved it up the inside. And yes, you're right, Will Nassif hasn't really featured at the front of this field so far this weekend.
Talking about featuring at the front, Tamburini struggling somewhat in this. Winner of race 2, probably just going to be left to pick up the pieces in this one.
Yeah, it's probably tricky Phillip Island conditions.
Look at Will Nassif. Round the outside, inside Jake Farnsworth. Oh, that is tight.
Well, those two have done a lot of laps around Sydney Motorsport Park. Probably a lot of them together as well. Will Nassif's been training hard on that Supersport machine, even in his last year in the Supersport 300 category. But this Phillip Island circuit is so fast and so flowing, and in tricky conditions like this, they're putting on a great display of riding. Nassif, as again, proving his confidence in the front end and on the brakes. of that machine. The Gow Racing Alpine Stars entry.
But out there right now, you can see there's not a lot of water coming off these, on the circuit.
I think there's going to be one thing coming off them, and that is a lot of rubber, Steve. Down into the turn 10 area. Once again, Will Nassif, very, very good. Half race distance. Let's get an update from you, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I thought
with Ollie Simpson now, well, I think he's turned up the wicker fraction. He realises that we're getting to the business end of this race, and he doesn't want to be hanging around. He knows what went on in the first couple of races with the bar banging that went on. And Taparis is also on a charge as well. Look at him there on board, bike number 7, the stop and seal entry.
He runs wide and looks like he's possibly lost that spot. And look at the sliding from Taparis' Ducati there. But it is Hayden Nelson who goes back past. Tommy Edwards has caught that gap up now. We've got a nice tight group. It's going to be a very interesting last couple of laps, but it's Jake Farnsworth out front. Or is it Ollie Simpson into the hay shed?
Oh.
What a manoeuvre.
Both of them just went drifting through that right-handed corner.
Look at, you can just see now things are starting to like arc up, aren't they? Everyone's getting edgy.
The level of desperation has gone off the Richter scale as we come down into turn 10. Edwards fighting back as well on the back of Taparis.
No one wants to finish that close to the win and not get on the podium.
Well, 1.1 seconds covers that top 6 at the moment. It's only going to get tighter as these laps dwindle down. Coming around to complete 8 laps now, and it's Simpson back into the lead.
Wide.
But Farnsworth is starting to look just that little bit more aggressive, but we've seen Ollie Simpson taking that wide line pretty much all weekend.
That was a super wide line.
Look at the speed there of the BC Performance Kawasaki of Tom Edwards, just blasting on past Will Nassif as they came down the straight. The Kawasaki's have gone up about 10 horsepower over last year with the next-gen rules. So that's a big advantage for the riders in green. But Will Nassif fights back immediately. We know how well that Yamaha can steer. Taparis
on the inside.
Well, held a very nice line through that corner.
Taparis is really starting to show now that he's got a little something extra. He's back in the pack a bit. He's going to have to really dig deep. But he's got the pace of the guys in front now. The first part of the race, I was unsure, but I think that the bikes and the tyres are coming to him. But he's just going to have to really fight for it because there's a lot of hungry riders in that pack.
We've also seen Ollie Simpson get out. So Taparis coming up to the 4 at the end of this race as we come round. This will be lap 9 completed. The last lap board will be issued to our race leader, Ollie Simpson, as he comes onto the straight.
And look at Taparis.
The speed of Taparis' Panigale V2, the stop and seal machine.
Well, that was the drive he got out of the corner that helped him there. Like, the bike's fast, but not that fast. That was all Tom Taparis.
He doesn't seem to take the wide line that Ollie Simpson's been taking all weekend. Oh, we've got one running off. I think that may have been
Will Nassif, maybe?
No, there's Will Nassif right there. So it may have been Jake Farnsworth. So I'm not sure what happened there, whether it was a mechanical issue, but he was certainly out onto the outside of turn 1.
Trust the front tyre on that Ducati. Will he try and outbrake him into MG corner?
Well, also a back marker getting into the equation. Tannhaus getting a short back and sides there. Big head shake from Taparis, not from the bike, from his own head. Just hoping that he wasn't going to lose too much distance there.
That's Taparis is through. Big moment there.
Simpson completely out of the seat. Taparis in the lead down the hill. And fighting back immediately to is Tom Edwards. He's going to get great drive out of the final corner, and it's going to be a drag race to the line. But Taparis is in prime position at the moment as we exit turn 11. Well, it's the man from Goulburn, the ambassador for One Raceway, his local racetrack, that could be looking to take his first next-gen victory of the year. Onto the straight we come. Simpson pulls into the slipstream. Has he got the drive to the line? He pulls out, and it's going to be very close as they come across the line. Tom Taparis by 0.003 of a second over Ollie Simpson. Tom Edwards takes that 3rd place on the podium, and what has been a difficult weekend for Tom and his team has been rewarded in the best way with victory in the final race of the weekend. What a great result for Tom Taparis. Ollie Simpson in 2nd and Tom Edwards in 3rd. Wow. Jake Farnsworth eventually took 4th. Hayden Nelson in 5th. Will Nassif in 6th, Roberto Tamburini, the Italian, in 7th, Gage Plowman in 8th, Valentino Knežević in 9th, and Scotty Nicholson, the reigning 300 Supersport champion, rounds out your top 10.